Yeah. So as I said that the role of CGM is very important because we know that A1C does not track glycemic excursions, and we know that using with glucometers we don't find 60% of the hypos, and CGM identifies more rather than SMBG, and glycemic excursions can be seen with the CGM. Next slide, please. And we know that going beyond A1C, I think going beyond SMBG, I think the futuristic role of CGM will be very important, as Dr. Jyoti has covered the role of professional CGM and as well as real-time CGM as well as fast technology. Next slide. And this is a very important slide that the CGM has a role in relation to hypo and hyperglycemia, and we can detect the glycemic variability using the CGM. Next slide, please. SMBG doesn't give you much the overall picture of glycemic excursions, and this is very important for a patient to understand the trends. This has correlation, as Dr. Jyoti has shown in one of the slides, that 3 patients will have the same HbA1c, but the glucose trends will be different. This can be found with CGM. And with lifestyle modifications, even a patient can understand these glycemic patterns. Next slide, please. And we can know the glucose downward trends and hypos and hypos. This is very important for a patient to understand, because getting hypoglycemia is, we know that time in range, time below in range is very important. Keeping a time in range is very important in reducing the microvascular complications. And CGM plays a very important role. Next slide. Next slide. As this picture shows that a boat with no context. Next slide, please. So in context to this complete picture, see the potential risk and danger. So when we use just an SMBG, sometimes you may not know the glycemic patterns. Next slide, please. So with more complete picture, I think with the CGM, the real time, what Dr. Jyoti has shown us, that this will prevent from getting into hypo and hyperglycemia. Next slide, please. So if you see in relation with diabetes education and lifestyle intervention, most of the studies have shown that a reduction of close to 1%, and it has seen that some patients also, their behavioral changes were done in relation to diet and physical activity. Definitely, CGM will play a major role in future also in reducing HbA1c. Next slide, please. As I said, that these are the technologies which have been used for CGM, as a professional CGM and a real-time CGM. And we have in this month, and Dr. Jyoti said that Medtronic is coming with 780G with a real-time CGM. It's automated insulin delivery. You can see that this will help in reducing the hypo and hyperglycemia. Next slide, please. So these are the advantages of using CGM technology of the latest insulin pumps and the CGM. We know that Dexcom G6 and Abbott Libre and Medtronic Guardian Connect Sensor 3 also will help in reducing microvascular complications. Next slide, please. Next slide. So these are the things which I already mentioned, that the role of these sensors will be, and it's very easy to use and very patient friendly also. And some sensors can be used for 1 week, some sensors can be used for 14 days. But this will help us overall patterns of glycemic expressions. So this will make us understand, it's like a teamwork, a patient and a doctor understand the glycemic patterns in relation to their dietary patterns, their physical activity, and even reducing the medications. Next slide, please. And with CGM, we know that we can have a, while using continuous glucose monitoring, we know that what food choices they can choose, which food is affecting their blood sugars, and anything relation to high glycemic GI foods, low GI foods, they can understand with CGM so that they can correct themselves. Any physical activity is also helping them in reducing the glycemic regressions. In overall, CGM will help in making better changes and also help in improving the quality of life. Next slide, please. So if you see the key points of using of a CGM is that it can lead to a improved quality of life and reducing the complications. And they also know that the patient can learn that hypos and hypers and can learn from the patterns, glucose patterns, which foods are causing hyperglycemia, and we can even doctor also can change the medications accordingly by seeing the glycemic patterns. And we know that more research is needed into CGM as a behavioral modification in relation to diet and exercise. In fact, in pre-diabetes also, we know that we can at least delay diabetes by learning the glycemic patterns. Next slide, please. So as in a nutshell, that CGM is basically it's a shared decision-making tool between the caregiver and the patient, and the patient understands about the overall his behavioral changes in relation to diet and his physical activity, and doctor also can adjust the medications, because medication compliance is very important, and digital solutions will help in reducing these complications. Next slide, please. We know that HbA1c will not give a clear picture of overall glycemic burden, and this CGM will help in reducing the hyper and hypo, and overall an actionable information for healthcare providers and in relation with a close patient partnership. Next slide, please. Future directions will be, we need to see that, as Dr. Jyoti has also shown in one slide, the comparisons of different CGM systems and standardization of outcome measures in relation to glycemic control and glycemic variability, and appropriate patient reported outcomes. And we need to see that large studies to improve quality of data. And very important is that information education for including patients and participants, how best that therapeutic decisions on this CGM data will help in changing the lifestyle modifications. Thank you for patient hearing.